South Georgia, investigated a case and discovered 40 to 50 acre plot of land, 11,000 marijuana plants with an estimated street value of over $20 million.
3:47 a.m. Minneapolis, Minnesota. The temperature was 11 degrees. Streets were frozen. The city slept beneath darkness. But inside a federal command center, the truth was about to explode. FBI Special Agent Marcus Chun stood before a digital map. Every dot represented a target. Every line connected to one person. Judge Layla Mahad. For 11 years, she wore the black robe. She decided who stayed in America, who was deported, who got asylum. The public saw compassion. Federal investigators saw corruption. Judge Mahad wasn't presiding over cases. She was selling them. At 4:52 a.m., the order came through. Execute immediately. This wasn't a routine arrest. This was a decapitation strike against a network that had compromised the United States judicial system. If you want the full truth about what happened next, hit like so this story reaches more people. Between January 2021 and December 2024, Judge Mahad approved 3,847 asylum applications. Standard procedure takes months. Background checks, interviews, document verification. But Judge Mahad's cases were approved in hours. In March 2023, a routine audit flagged the anomaly. 214 approvals processed in a single week. It was statistically impossible. The Treasury Department opened a parallel investigation. They found the reason why. The price of American citizenship was $18,000. Payments were routed through shell companies. Nevada, Delaware, Wyoming. Entities with names like Global Consulting Services and Horizon Legal Solutions. They looked like law firms. They were fronts for the Somali Brotherhood Network. This criminal syndicate had been tracked by federal agents since 2019. They operated across 7 states, Minnesota to Maine, as far west as California. Their business model was simple: smuggle people in, forge documents, by the judge. In just 4 years, Judge Mahad processed $69.2 million in fraudulent immigration approvals. Treasury analysts confirmed wire transfers matching that exact amount. Offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, Dubai. But the network didn't just move people, they moved contraband. The Somali Brotherhood used the cover of legal immigration to smuggle drugs and cash inside shipments that Judge Mahad ensured nobody looked at too closely. Comment exposed below if you believe corrupt judges deserve maximum prison time. At 5:30 a.m., the federal convoy moved out. 18 unmarked vehicles. FBI, DEA, ICE, U.S. Marshal Service. They cut through silent streets. No sirens, no lights, just engines and purpose. They were converging on 7 locations simultaneously. The primary target was Judge Mahad's chambers. Secondary targets included her $1.9 million home in the wealthy Edina neighborhood and 3 warehouses in suburban industrial zones. At 5:18 a.m., the first breach occurred. A battering ram struck the reinforced door of Judge Mahad's downtown office. The frame splintered. Agents poured inside with guns drawn. Federal agents. Search warrant. The office was empty, but the evidence was there. Agent Chun led the recovery team. Behind a false panel in the wall, they found the first cash. $340,000 in bundled hundreds. 11 encrypted cell phones. Burner devices. Each linked to a different contact in the criminal underworld. The names listed on the screens were code. Logistics coordinator was actually Abdi Hassan, a known trafficker. Community organizer was Farah Osman, a money courier. The phones contained 4,216 messages. These weren't conversations. They were orders. Clear the transfer by Wednesday. Approve application 7741. No interview. Ensure no secondary review. This was the smoking gun. Judge Mahad was issuing direct commands to bypass national security protocols. Inside a locked filing cabinet, agents found the ledgers. Handwritten notebooks detailing every bribe. Case number, date, amount. One ledger alone listed 892 fraudulent approvals, each marked with a red check, each linked to a payment between $15,000 and $22,000. While the office was being swept, the tactical team breached Judge Mahad's home in Edina. In the master bedroom, they found 3 safes. Safe 1, $340,000 in cash. Stacks of $100 bills bound with rubber bands. Safe 2, 23 passports with different names but identical photos. Members of the same criminal cell. Safe 3, 4 encrypted hard drives. These drives contained the holy grail of the investigation: video recordings of meetings between a sitting federal judge and cartel operatives, audio files detailing payment negotiations, bank records showing $127 million in wire transfers. Type yes if you're ready to see what happened next. But the most terrifying discovery happened at 5:44 a.m. in Brooklyn Park. The third team hit a warehouse registered as a storage facility for household goods. When agents breached the loading dock, they didn't find furniture. They found a distribution hub for the cartel. The first crate opened contained 63 AR-15 rifles. No serial numbers. Full auto modifications. The second crate held 240,000 rounds of ammunition. And then DEA agents uncovered it. 127 vacuum-sealed bricks of fentanyl. The total weight was 279 pounds. Analysts calculated that this amount alone could produce 63 million lethal doses. Enough to kill every person in Minnesota 3 times over. Manifests found on a clipboard nearby detailed shipments scheduled for 14 cities. Chicago, Detroit, Seattle, New York, all set to depart within the next 10 days. The raid had stopped a mass casualty event. Simultaneously in Bloomington, agents raided a townhouse that revealed a massive forgery operation. They seized 418 professionally forged documents, social security cards, driver's licenses, embassy seals from 6 different countries. But as the evidence piled up, one question remained. Where was the judge? At 6:41 a.m., the alert came through. An ICE agent at Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport flagged suspicious activity. A private jet had filed a flight plan to Dubai. Departure was scheduled for 7:15 a.m. The passenger manifest listed one name, Layla Mahed. Agent Chun grabbed his radio. All units, target is attempting to flee the country. Interdiction authorized. 6 federal vehicles tore toward Terminal 2, ignoring speed limits. Judge Mahed was walking calmly through the private aviation lounge. She wore a black coat and carried a single leather bag. She looked like any other wealthy traveler. She believed she was untouchable. At 6:58 a.m., the agents entered the lounge. Layla Mahed, you are under arrest. She turned slowly. No shock, no panic, just cold calculation. On what charges? Corruption, racketeering, conspiracy, immigration fraud, money laundering. Shall I continue? Her arrogance was absolute. As they cuffed her, she whispered 3 words that agents later put in their report. You have no idea what you've just done. If this shocks you, hit like now and comment guilty below. By 8:15 a.m., federal prosecutors had unsealed a 74-page indictment. The charges against Judge Mahed were catastrophic. 18 counts of corruption, 23 counts of wire fraud, 9 counts of racketeering. If convicted on all counts, she faced 340 years in federal prison. But the indictment didn't stop with her. It named 29 co-conspirators, smugglers, money launderers, forgers operating under her protection. By noon, coordinated arrests were taking place in 7 states. Agents arrested Abdi Hassan in Detroit and seized $1.2 million in cash from his apartment. In San Diego, agents raided a warehouse belonging to Tahir Yusuf and found 89 kilograms of methamphetamine and 341 kilograms of cocaine. The network crumbled in hours. But the investigation revealed a systemic rot that went far deeper than one judge. Between 2021 and 2024, Judge Mahed had communicated with 11 other immigration officials, judges, case managers, asylum officers. The Department of Justice identified 19 federal employees under investigation. The total scope was national. Investigators discovered that approximately 47,000 asylum applications had been approved fraudulently across the country during this period. The financial impact was estimated at $1.4 billion in defrauded benefits. But the human cost was worse. The weapons seized in the warehouse were ballistically matched to 23 unsolved homicides. The fentanyl was linked to 89 overdose deaths. Judge Mahed had blood on her hands. Share this so more communities understand what's happening. On March 18, 2025, her trial began. The evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution played the tapes. They showed the ledgers. They read the text messages. On April 22nd, the jury deliberated for just 11 hours before returning a verdict. Guilty on all counts. At the sentencing hearing, Judge Mahed stood before her peer, a fellow federal judge who looked down at her with disgust. You were entrusted with one of the most important responsibilities in our legal system. You sold justice for cash. You enabled criminals. You endangered innocent lives. The sentence was handed down. 28 years in federal prison. No parole. She was ordered to forfeit assets totaling $31.7 million and pay restitution to victims. As she was led out in handcuffs, the reality set in. She would die in a cage. But the fallout continues. By August 2025, 41 other officials had been convicted. The federal government seized a total of $487 million in dirty assets. Reforms were swift. Fraudulent asylum approvals dropped by 91% by the end of the year. This case proved that corruption doesn't announce itself. It hides behind titles and robes. It hides behind the facade of compassion. But when the federal government decides to look, the evidence is always there. Judge Mahad thought she was the law. Now she is a prisoner of it. The Minneapolis case exposed something larger. A network operating in plain sight, protected by authority, enabled by trust. For years, federal systems had been compromised, not by foreign enemies, by American officials sworn to uphold the law. The Somali Brotherhood network wasn't new. It had been operating since 2015, growing, expanding, infiltrating. By 2024, they controlled immigration pathways in 11 states. The model was elegant. Identify vulnerable officials, offer money, create dependency, exploit position. Judge Mahad was the crown jewel, but she wasn't alone. Federal investigators uncovered a parallel operation in Seattle. Immigration Judge David Chun had approved 2,300 fraudulent asylum cases between 2020 and 2024. His price was $22,000 per approval. In Miami, case manager Patricia Reyes processed false documents for $8,500 each. Over 3 years, she cleared 1,847 applications without verification. The pattern was identical: shell companies, wire transfers, offshore accounts. This wasn't isolated corruption. This was a system. Comment your reaction below if this makes you angry. The financial trail led investigators to discover the mastermind. His name was Omar Abdirahman, age 47, born in Mogadishu, naturalized U.S. citizen in 2008. On the surface, he was a successful businessman, owner of 3 logistics companies, real estate investor, community leader. But federal wiretaps revealed the truth. Abdirahman was the architect. He built the network from scratch, recruited officials, managed payments, coordinated smuggling routes. Between 2019 and 2024, his organization generated $2.3 billion in revenue. Not millions, billions. The money flowed through 47 shell companies registered across the United States. Each had clean paperwork, legitimate addresses, tax filings. Investigators traced funds to 14 countries: Cayman Islands, Dubai, Singapore, Switzerland, Lebanon, Kenya. The complexity was staggering, but the brutality was worse. In November 2023, a Syrian family paid $54,000 to Abdirahman's network for asylum processing. They were promised fast approval, safe passage. Instead, they were smuggled into a Detroit warehouse, held for ransom, tortured when payment didn't arrive. The father, Ahmed Al-Masri, was beaten to death. His body was found in a dumpster 3 weeks later. His wife and 2 children were never seen again. This wasn't immigration fraud. This was human trafficking, extortion, murder. Federal agents recovered communications showing Abdirahman personally ordering violence against families who couldn't pay additional fees. One message read, "Make an example. Others need to see what happens." The cruelty wasn't occasional. It was policy. If you believe justice matters, comment justice below. On January 14, 2025, FBI and IC launched Operation Broken Trust. The coordinated strike targeted 83 locations across 11 states. The goal was total dismantlement. At 4 a.m., tactical teams moved simultaneously. Minneapolis, Seattle, Miami, Phoenix, Portland, Boston. In Minneapolis, agents arrested Abdirahman at his $4.7 million estate in Wayzata. He was asleep when they breached. No resistance, no escape attempt, just shock. Inside his home office, agents found the nerve center, 6 computers, encrypted servers, financial records dating back to 2015. The data was comprehensive: names, amounts, dates, routes. Everything was documented. In Seattle, agents raided Judge Chen's residence and found $890,000 hidden in a garage wall. In Miami, Patricia Reyes attempted to flee through a back window. She was apprehended carrying 2 duffel bags stuffed with $1.3 million. By 9 a.m., 67 individuals were in federal custody. The arrests sent shockwaves through immigrant communities nationwide. Fear spread. Trust collapsed. People who had paid for legitimate asylum processing began questioning their status. Were their cases real? Would they be deported? The Department of Homeland Security issued an emergency directive. All asylum approvals from January 2021 to December 2024 would be reviewed. 47,000 cases, each one requiring re-examination. The backlog was immediate. Legitimate refugees faced delays. Families were separated. Lives were suspended. This was the damage corruption creates. It doesn't just harm criminals. It destroys innocent people trying to follow the law. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next in this investigation. The trial of Omar Abdirahman began on June 3, 2025. The prosecution presented 847 pieces of evidence, financial records, wiretaps, victim testimony. The defense argued entrapment. They claimed Abdirahman was a businessman exploited by corrupt officials. The jury didn't believe it. Prosecutors played audio recordings. Abdirahman negotiating prices, ordering violence, celebrating successful smuggling operations. In one recording from March 2024, Abdirahman laughed while discussing a family held hostage.
They'll pay. They always pay.
Fear is better than trust.
The courtroom fell silent.
On July 17, 2025, the verdict came. Guilty on all 94 counts. Racketeering, conspiracy, human trafficking, murder for hire, money laundering. The sentencing was scheduled for September. On September 9, 2025, Omar Abdirahman stood before Judge Catherine Morrison.
She didn't mince words.
You built an empire on human suffering. You exploited vulnerable people fleeing war and persecution. You corrupted American officials.
You ordered murders.
You destroyed families. The sentence was life without parole, plus 240 years on additional counts. He showed no emotion as marshals led him away. But the systemic repairs were just beginning. Congress launched hearings.
How did this happen?
What safeguards failed? The answers were uncomfortable. Immigration courts were understaffed. Caseloads were overwhelming. Oversight was minimal. Judges processed 4,000 cases per year. The pressure created shortcuts. Shortcuts created vulnerabilities.
Reforms were proposed.
Mandatory audits, random case reviews, financial monitoring of all immigration officials. By December 2025, the Immigration Court Integrity Act passed both chambers. President signed it into law on December 18. The new system required dual approval for asylum cases, biometric verification, blockchain-tracked documentation. Technology replaced trust. Early results showed promise. Fraudulent applications dropped 87% in the first quarter of 2026. But the human toll couldn't be reversed. 89 people died from fentanyl linked to Judge Mahad's network. 23 were murdered by Abdirahman's organization. 47,000 legitimate asylum seekers faced re-examination. Communities were fractured. Institutions were damaged. If you believe we need stronger oversight of all public officials, share this video now. The Minneapolis case became a symbol.
A warning.
Corruption doesn't need foreign agents.
It needs greed, opportunity,
Weak oversight. Judge Mahad earned $450,000 annually.
but she wanted more.
So she sold her oath for $69 million. Omar Abdirahman was a successful businessman,
But he wanted power.
so he built a criminal empire disguised as logistics companies. Patricia Reyes processed immigration documents, but she wanted luxury, so she approved 1,847 fraudulent cases for $15.6 million. These weren't desperate people. They were privileged individuals who chose crime, and they were caught because one auditor noticed 214 approvals in a single week.
One person, one anomaly, one investigation.
That's how fragile corruption is,
And how essential vigilance is.
The federal agents who conducted Operation Broken Trust worked 19-hour days for 9 months. They traced money through 14 countries. They coordinated 83 simultaneous raids. They did it because the law matters. Because justice isn't negotiable. Agent Marcus Chun, who led the Minneapolis investigation, was asked what motivated him. His answer was simple. Every fraudulent approval took resources from legitimate refugees. Every bribe weakened the system. Every compromised official destroyed public trust. This wasn't about immigration policy. This was about the rule of law.
And the rule of law won.
But the fight continues. As of January 2026, federal investigators are pursuing 34 additional immigration officials in 9 states. The network was larger than initially believed. New evidence suggests connections to Mexican cartels. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
The Sinaloa cartel.
These organizations didn't just use corrupt judges.
They cultivated them.
Identified vulnerabilities.
Made offers.
The sophistication was alarming. One internal memo recovered from Abdirahman's servers outlined a recruitment strategy. Target officials with financial stress, gambling debts,
Medical bills. Divorces. Offer help.
create dependency.
Exploit position. It worked 41 times.
41 federal employees compromised. 41 individuals who took an oath and broke it. The damage spreads through society like poison. When judges can be bought, law becomes meaningless. When officials serve criminals, institutions collapse.
Trust isn't rebuilt overnight.
It requires transparency.
Accountability, consequences.
Judge Layla Mahed will serve 28 years. Omar Abdirahman will die in prison. Patricia Reyes received 17 years. But thousands of cases remain unresolved. Families wait in limbo. Communities struggle with betrayal. This is the legacy of corruption. Comment below. Do you believe we need a retroactive audit of every asylum case approved in the last 5 years? Yes or no? The story doesn't end here. Federal task forces are now monitoring immigration courts nationwide. Random audits, financial reviews, behavioral analysis. The goal is prevention. Identify red flags before corruption takes root. Technology helps, but culture matters more. Immigration officials must understand the stakes. Every fraudulent approval enables criminal networks. Every bribe weakens national security. Every compromised decision endangers innocent lives.
The oath isn't symbolic, it's foundational.
When that oath is broken, the entire system suffers. The Minneapolis case proved federal law enforcement can win, can dismantle networks, can hold officials accountable. But it also proved how easily trust can be betrayed. Judge Mahed presided over 3,847 hearings. She looked asylum seekers in the eye. She asked about their fears,
Their persecution,
their hope for safety, and then she sold her decision to the highest bidder. That's not just corruption.
that's cruelty.
The families who paid $18,000 believed they were following the law. They thought an American judge would be fair. Instead, they funded a criminal enterprise. Some of those families are now in deportation proceedings. Their fraudulent approvals are being revoked.
They're victims twice over.
Exploited by criminals. Punished by the system they trusted. This is why justice must be precise. Why investigations must be thorough. Why reforms must protect the innocent while punishing the guilty. Hit like if you believe justice is worth fighting for, no matter how long it takes. The federal government seized $487 million in assets from the Somali Brotherhood Network. That money is being redirected. $140 million will fund expanded immigration court oversight. $200 million will support victim services for trafficking survivors. $147 million will enhance border security technology. The criminals' profits are now financing their defeat. That's poetic justice.
But money doesn't heal trauma, doesn't restore families,
Doesn't resurrect the dead. Ahmed Al-Masri's children are orphans. The 89 fentanyl victims are gone. The 23 murder victims can't be brought back. These are permanent losses. Irreversible damage. And it all happened because one judge decided money mattered more than justice. The investigation continues. New leads emerge daily. More officials are under scrutiny.
This isn't over. It's evolving.
The networks adapt. They find new vulnerabilities.
New officials,
New methods. But federal law enforcement adapts too.
learns, improves, persists.
Operation Broken Trust wasn't the end.
It was a battle.
The war against corruption is permanent. As long as there's money in crime, there will be officials willing to sell their integrity. As long as there are desperate people, there will be criminals ready to exploit them. That's reality. But reality also includes dedicated agents,
Honest judges, committed prosecutors,
people who refuse to be bought, who work impossible hours for modest pay, who believe the system is worth defending. They're the reason Judge Mahed is in prison. The reason Abdirahman will never walk free. The reason 41 corrupt officials were exposed. They're the reason justice prevailed. And they're still working,
still investigating, still fighting.
This is only the beginning. More arrests are coming. More networks will fall. More officials will face consequences.
Stay vigilant, stay informed,
Stay engaged. Because the fight for justice requires all of us. Subscribe so you don't miss updates on this case and others like it. Share this story so more people understand the stakes. Comment your thoughts below.
The truth matters. Accountability matters. Justice matters.
And together, we make sure it happens.